Hi, my name is Gary Dillon, and this is my Module 2 City Project Sustainable Development Goals for Christchurch, New Zealand. Reviewing the UN's list of Sustainable Development Goals, 3 stuck out to me as being relevant to Christchurch. The first was number 11, Sustainable Cities and Government. Cities have to be properly planned for them to function efficiently. Ever since the earthquakes in 2010 and 2011, a lot of people in Christchurch have been moving out to the suburbs, creating a suburban sprawl. This has resulted in a loss of biodiversity as well as valuable agricultural land. So you have to plan with population density in mind. That way you save as much farmland and biodiversity as you can. The other part of that is managing air pollution, which is a huge problem in New Zealand. Um, we went over it last week. Um, Other people mentioned it, but I was researching it myself this week and I didn't know how bad it was. They are making some strides on improving it, but according to my research here, it says that a 2016 report from the New Zealand Ministry for Environment stated that air pollution was responsible for 3,300 premature deaths, over 13,200 cases of childhood asthma, and over 13,100 hospital admissions for respiratory illnesses. These resulted in social costs of $15.6 billion in 1 year. And, New Zealand doesn't even have a very large population. So that's, you can just imagine what that's like on the global scale, with air pollution being such a big problem in the developing world and larger population centers being in the developing world. You could just imagine what the annual cost of it is to all of Earth, probably in the hundreds of billions of dollars, if not over a trillion. But national air quality standards are being applied, and they're trying to combat things such as open fires, which are bonfires, campfires, fire pits, and they're trying to restrict the age and type of wood burner that can be used, presumably because the newer wood burners are more energy efficient, and also the type of materials that can be burned as well. Air quality has improved in Christchurch over the past decade. In 2013, it was 20 particulate matter, or exceedances was the phrase that they used. And in 2023, that was down to 2 particulate matter. So it decreased by 90%. And that's just from those restrictions and just also discussing it more in the media and making it a controversial issue. The next sustainable development goal that stuck out to me was number 7, affordable and clean energy. Most of New Zealand's energy is provided by fossil fuels, um, including 99% for transportation, 60% of industrial energy. Um, on the bright side, 80 to 85% of their electricity is generated from renewable energy, which is amazing. I think a way that they can continue to improve upon that and also sort of encourage people to use electric space heaters instead of burning wood is to have subsidies for electric space heaters. Like maybe if you buy a space heater at the end of the year, we give you a rebate, or when you do your taxes or something of that nature. Then that way the consumer is incentivized to purchase the product that's better for the environment, better for their health, better for everyone. Kind of the same way that we have tax credits for electric vehicles here in America. Something similar, but for space heaters in New Zealand. The last one was number 15, life on land. Agricultural expansion is responsible for almost 90% of deforestation. The same thing is happening in Christchurch, well, in New Zealand in general, but it's happening in the Christchurch metro area due to the earthquakes and COVID. People are pushing outward. Suburban sprawl, losing farmland, farmland's being converted into housing, which is low density. And, they're getting rid of farmland. They're cutting down forests to create low density housing for people. It's not very sustainable. Let's see here. This was very surprising to me. The increased demand for protein around the world, I guess, as people in the developing world are getting wealthier and they have more money now for, things like meat, quite frankly. They are, it's taking a toll on the environment and it's creating these horrible diseases. Like the big one that comes to mind is COVID because it affected all our lives so much. But apparently, 2 million people die every year from these diseases in middle and low income countries, and that was shocking because we almost never hear about it. Um, to avoid that, you can eat a locally based diet, and I can just say from my experience that I spent some time visiting India. I was born there, and I still go back every year, every couple of years to visit family. And whenever I go back, I eat a largely vegetarian diet because, India has 1.4 billion people in a relatively small area. The only way you can feed that many people is by having a lot of them be vegetarian. There's just not enough land in India for, to graze cattle and things like that, that you could feed that many people if they were all trying to get a large portion of their calories through meat. So you have to locally source your food. Try to eat a vegetarian diet. That also helps. Only participate in ethical ecotourism to avoid wildlife disruption. I'm trying to think if anything else here. And yeah, that was about it. Thank you.